We're recapping Manchester United's win, 2-1 win against Viktoria Plzen in the Europa League. A big comeback win. Tale of two halves for Manchester United. They were dreadful in the first half. Couple just stinker performances from a number of players. We'll call those out a little bit later. Second half, more of the same in the opening. Onana with another howler. Those howlers from Onana, they come in bunches, and we're in a howler streak. But then Ruben Amorim, sir, our manager, he knows how to affect a game with substitutes. He does so. He makes his early subs once again before the 60th minute, and then bringing on Mount and Hojlund, I think, changed the game for United, and we were so much better in the last third of the game. Last 30 minutes created lots of chances. Hojlund got his brace. Could have had many more. That was still frustrating, how many chances we had at the end, and game management wasn't very good, but it was an important win. It was a comeback win. It was the first win for United away in Europe for over a year, so that's important to have. We're not back. We're in the top half or the top third of the Europa League stack ranked list. So if we stay there, we're avoiding the extra playoff game. So it's a good win on the road, an important one heading into the derby. Sir, how are we feeling? How are we doing?
No, this is the new regime at United. It was shit football in the first half, you got to say. Amorim's doing the best he can right now, but sometimes you need a gritty comeback win away. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's like you're going to the Czech Republic. It's cold. These guys are like born and bred in the cold. Like United, we're soft. And I'm glad we showed some grit and came back in the second half. It's just not fun to watch, midday stinker first half. But at the end of the day, showing fight, doubling down, having Hojlund on the mark for United is good, and you need these gritty away performances. Concerns? Absolutely. Onana, the howler game ain't going away. I mean, there's no way around that one. I know that you killed De Gea for the howlers. He's already got more than De Gea has in his last couple of seasons there, and he's got to get rid of these quick, because kicking it to the other team when your team's not playing good is going to hurt you. And on the back of a game, he just gave away a few. Look, I think he's got the quality to be a world-class keeper. He's got the quality to be the Manchester United number one, but there's a point where you got to get this out of your game. Now, is that a little harsh on Onana? Yes. We're playing out the back more. So these errors are going to come. This is a transition season. It's a new system. So you can't really kick anyone when you're down, and you just got to keep your head up. Be grateful we're chipping up the Europa League table and going to be in a better position for the next round.
No, 100%. And the Onana, I was fearful that he'd have another howler in this game. This is more understandable than the one on the weekend, right? Because this is, like you said, play out the back. You're going to make mistakes. The one on the weekend was less defensible, given it just, I don't know what was going on there. But either way, definitely a concern. He needs to right the ship before the derby on the weekend, because if we're going to get anything out of that game against City, he's going to have a big role to play in that. So we need him to have a big game. And like you said, first half super frustrating. I think the bluffers continue to step out into the spotlight and say, "Hey, Ruben, I'm exactly who you thought I am." And then the second half, I thought the team showed a lot of grit. I like the fight, even at the end when United had a bunch of chances to kind of pour on the goals, which we should have. We needed to. We still looked real herky-jerky even after getting the winner. But I like the young players, so the players that we think are the most talented to begin with, were chipping at each other. Ruben talked about it later. It's like they're fighting. That's good. They actually care. So frustrating game. A lot of things to work on. A lot of issues that are still very obvious that this is going to take a while. But at the same time, there are some dogs in this team that are willing to fight for this manager. Mason Mount came on. Thought he looked great. Luke Shaw, what am I talking about? Again, Ahmad continues to impress. I thought Hojlund came in and shows the nose for goal. Bruno with 7 chances created. So it's just there are players, but you still have the lows. You still have Marcus Rashford. That's only going one way. That was bad. So, a lot of work to do, but a lot of games left, and we needed this win regardless.
Hey, Rashford scores a brace in the derby. All will be forgiven. Quick PSA for the podcast. You like the American Red Devils, please check us out on YouTube. Trying to get to 1,000 subs. We're almost there, 964. Smash the subscribe. Hit the like. Help other Muppets find great Manchester United fan content. You want to support the pod as well. Check out our Patreon page. Do an extra special behind-the-scenes episode every month. Tons of other benefits. Join over 100 Patreon members at patreon.com/America Red Devils. Also check out our store. We got hats. We got scarves. Viva Garnacho scarf. This one is really sharp, sir. Cheer on Garnacho, the greatest club in the world, and support the Muppet Take, AmericanRedDevils.store. Check out our website, AmericanRedDevils.com. Great fan-generated blog content. We got articles about Amorim. We have articles about Ashworth leaving. Tons of great content here. AmericanRedDevils.com. Sir, tell them about iTunes reviews.
John mentioned some other great ways to support the pod. An additional way that you can support the pod is to write 5-star reviews. It goes a long way to help us get found organically by other top Muppets like yourself. And all you have to do is write a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. Send a screenshot of that review to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com. And I will personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear. Send it right to your door anywhere in the world. We appreciate all the reviews. Like John mentioned, check out YouTube. Like, subscribe. It goes a long way. Patreon, merch. Pick up some ARD gear for the loved ones in your life, sir.
It's the holidays.
Come on, the knitted hat, the blanket, they're all great. Let's get into that Plzen game, sir. We're going to the Czech Republic. Get me a Stein.
All right, getting into the lineup here for Plzen, we had Onana in net, Martinez, Delit, Mazraoui center back pairing, Malacia left wing back, Casemiro, Bruno midfield, Delo on the right, Diallo, Xerxes, and Rashford. What'd you make of this 11?
I was excited to see the Diallo play in a more advanced position. Right, I know he could play very well as a wing back. He's shown that since Ruben Amorim has come in as the manager of United. But I wanted to see him more up the pitch because he's such a good attacker. So that was exciting. And then at the same time, it's like, this makes sense given the games that we just played. Get Malacia in. Rashford needs to go. I didn't hate it on paper, but it did not work as soon as it came out. What were your thoughts when you saw this 11, sir?
Well, notice how the manager is continuing to change and tinker and innovate. Bruno and Casemiro in the midfield. Interesting look. Malacia, Martinez on the left. Then you're seeing Diallo and Delo, but you have Maz covering them on the right. Maz being the best, the player who would track back the most, covering two offensive-minded players there on the right wing. And then Xerxes, you got to figure out how to use him. Dan Ashworth bottom. I said he was baloney from Bologna FC. It got the man sacked, sir. We got to find a way to put this guy to use. And he did have a few interesting and good link-up passes, but as a team, not on the money for Manchester United. You want to get into that first half, sir?
Yeah, let's get into it. It was it was a dreadful half. I mean, we just looked clunky as shit. Plzen weren't super threatening, but United just looked like we didn't know how to pass in the back, super sloppy on the ball, and not a huge number of kind of notable chances. But let's get into it. 28th minute, nice ball in from a free kick. Xerxes couldn't get an end of it, but that was one of Bruno's many chances created in this game. And then another good opportunity in the 32nd minute. Bruno blasts a shot from outside of the box, forcing the keeper into a diving save. They had a couple half chances from Plzen, but they were very threatening. And the big thing from the first half was this ain't working. I thought the standout stinkers were Delo looked terrible. He kept giving the ball away. He looked so bad on the left. And Rashford and Xerxes just didn't look in the game. Didn't look engaged. We're sloppy on the ball. Some hero ball from Rashford. It wasn't good. It was very not good, and I'm sure Ruben Amorim headed into halftime was furious and just tearing the lads apart.
No, of course. An uneventful 30 minutes away. It makes sense. Plzen's up for it. We didn't concede a lot, but we didn't create a lot. And if you look at the money and the players out there, we need some chemistry. We needed some chem. And then the second half, sir, the drill. Don't concede early. Unfortunately, United would. 48th minute. Plzen coming at you.
Fit the positions in the way that he wants his football to be played. Not like that. Onana's given it away. Big chance here. Vitra into the middle. 1-0. Vitra played it in. And Pavel Suk was there.
There's nothing like a jittery pass. It was jittery.
So jittery.
He was jittery. He was literally got the jitters before he kicked it to the other team. Look, there's two tracks of this conversation. One track is, hey, we bought this keeper to play out the back. We are playing out the back in earnest under Amorim. I feel like we bought him to play out the back, but for some reason, Ten Hag kind of didn't go full Muppet on that. And now we are. So we're starting to figure it out like year 3, which doesn't make any sense.
Hilarious.
And then number 2, where like that's a totally understandable view. And the other one is this keeper is in the habit of giving games away, and it's really hard for like, especially a team, less is more right now for the team and this goalie, because to get out of these deficits is difficult. Now, we did today, but if you do this against City, like that's all she wrote. And then you're just like writing games off. And that's like, I truly believe how serious of a manager Amorim is. Like Onana is playing for his job this year. I think everyone's playing for his job. And I think like this type of behavior, like if it is allowed now, but if it's continuing, like that's the one thing about Onana is he like plays really good and then it's like back up and down a little bit. He's got to continually improve at the end of the season, because if this manager can't trust him, they're shipping him. And I think he's got it, but for some reason he's a little jittery and can give these like howler saves plus the play out the back kind of weirdo goals. So concerning, but not an emergency.
No, it's definitely concerning. It's concerning for a variety of reasons. Like you said, it's like he was solid for a year, but we've seen before. Like he had a shit start to his career at United, of course, especially in Europe, right? The reason we had like the worst campaign in Europe last year was largely his hands. Now he had a good second half of the season, a good start to this season, but like my concern with this game was his errors are bunchy. Right, he had a big error against Forest, and he's done that in the past where he like had a bunch of errors in back-to-back games. So it happens. Like I said, this is a more acceptable error because we're trying to play out the back and we're getting that going than the Nottingham Forest error, which is inexcusable. So he's got to right the ship quickly. Otherwise, like errors happen. But if this streaks for a month, then like he can't be the man. He can't be the goalkeeper for Manchester United. So we need him against City. So we need him to not like be giving up these howlers.
Nope. Don't need howlers, sir. And then Amorim's like,
fuck this.
I just yelled at you at halftime.
Fucking bums.
Now we're changing it. Hojlund comes on. Rashford didn't have a great game. Speaking of players playing for their jobs, that's like one of them. Mount and Antony on for Malacia and Xerxes. And that would yield some results, sir. We would, the Emperor of Rome, 62nd minute.
Gone to the right-hand side, Dallow's switch. It's a good ball into the penalty. Amad Diallo! It's in! Hojlund may not have known too much about it, but he chucked it home for 1-1. The lead lasted 13 minutes.
Exactly what the doctor ordered. Manager makes some subs. Hojlund gets his goal. It's a finisher's goal, but that's what he is. He's a finisher. Win, baby, win. Let's go.
That's all that matters. All that matters is getting a result today. As bad as the first 16 minutes where the subs had a real effect. I mean, like a real effect. We look like a different team once Xerxes came off and Hojlund was up front, plus Mount combining with fucking Bruno. Like, it was such a good
Mount.
No,
Mount.
It changed. We should have scored 4 goals in the last 30 minutes. We had so many good opportunities. So you love to see it because we just need results now. It's like it's going to be herky-jerky as shit, but this is good for his confidence. Ahmad, once again, contributing with a great run. Love it. Let's keep going.
It's Plzen. I mean, like, we should be beating him.
Of course,
guys.
we should.
Just a reminder.
I'm not
just
saying
a
we
reminder.
shouldn't, but we still need
Plzen.
a win.
It would take a late winner to get it. Hojlund would. Set piece. Did Manchester United. Could they score on a set piece? Let's go.
Bruno Fernandes will take it. Oh, it's in! And he's done it again! What a change in Manchester United since Rasmus Hojlund came on. And with 2.5 minutes to go, Ruben Amorim inside now, Lee.
I mean, this is huge. United take the lead, 87th minute. We needed it in Europe. We've had a dreadful start. Hojlund gets this goal. Now, here's the deal. 2 comments on this one. Great touch, great finish. And when was the last time you remember a game-changing player come onto the pitch, score a brace, and win a come-from-behind result for Manchester United? It's been a long time. Hojlund hasn't been that guy. He is now under the new manager, and that's a big thing. That's a very Manchester United thing, would be bringing on a sub, turning around a game, winning. Win, baby, win. What a result.
The last guy to probably do it was Ronaldo, right? Ronaldo or Cavani. We haven't had that effect and ability to come on and kind of change the game in a long time. So it was him. Bruno looked better once Mount came on, and the team just looked more confident. So it's a good goal, good striker's goal, right? Uses his body, uses his strength well. Funny, kind of like it popped up in the air well, kind of weird, but he finishes really well. Good goal, good for his confidence. We needed it. I know this is a shit team, but like we needed it. We needed a win. We needed a W.
Totally.
It was an important W, and it was a gritty W as well. But the end was frustrating because we had all this stoppage time and a bunch of chances. We haven't shown an ability to manage games very well.
No, there was some bad runs. Like both Hojlund and Ahmad had runs at the end of the game with a minute left, and they went 1v1 and lost the ball, leading to more dangerous. There's things we got to get out of this.
Right.
Get out of our game, and look, you're always gonna have some fine points there. But overall, from a vibes perspective, from a team perspective, going away, getting a gritty result, this is going to help us at the weekend. It's going to help us with the confidence overall, especially how it started. Shots, 15 to Plzen, 17 to United, 2 on target to United's 8, 31% of the ball to our 69%. We did dominate the stat sheet. As it relates to XG, 2.6 to their 0.89. Dominated them. You could see the chart as soon as the subs were made.
Huge impact. That's an unbelievable chart.
But that's pretty dreadful. The first 60 minutes.
Terrible. It was terrible.
And you don't. Those players know who they are, and they got to improve. And if you look at the average formation, bunching up here at the back, Malacia couldn't get forward. Rashford and Xerxes, tons of space in between these players. Same with Diallo. We just couldn't find a side. We couldn't find the right connection. Bruno and Xerxes and Bruno right on top of each other. Not ideal either. And that's maybe when you're playing Bruno and you're playing Xerxes, that kind of clogs things up as well. Plzen all over the place, what you would expect. But let's check in with the main man, the manager. What do you think about Plzen?
With the reaction of your players in the second half?
Yes, in this moment, in this context, the way that we give a goal to the opponent was important, not to give up. So that is a great message. Was not a great game, but we managed to do these good things that is good for when you are building a team, and I think we deserved the win.
We've seen that Rasmus Hojlund and Ahmad were unhappy with each other at the final whistle for not having passed to each other in 2 late breaks. Were you aware of that?
Yes, for me it's perfect. We need to feel something. In this moment we need to feel something. If we need to fight each other, it's like a family. For me it's a very, very good sign. We need to feel something, and that is important.
It shows that the players care.
That is clear. When you don't care, you don't do nothing. When you care, you fight with your brother.
Look at those eyes. He knows it, sir. I got 25% of the Iberian Peninsula on me. I'm fiery with the family. We got to hash it out here at ARD. Sometimes we do it on the podcast, You got to do it, sir. That's what it's all about. You're out there on the pitch. Hojlund didn't pass. You got to go confront him. I love the spirit, love the fight from the lads, love the manager egging him on.
No, this guy, it's, the poet, it's like, he was that Joe Namath, him on the sideline back in the day, black out, I want to kiss you. I just, every time I hear this guy, he just makes me feel better. Current state of affairs, I could kiss you, Ruben Amorim, because you're right, bro. It's like this team, I need to show a little fight. And you know what? We haven't seen any fight in this team for years, and probably since early fucking Ole days. So the fact that the team showed some fight, and I think it's the young players. It's the players who have staying power at this club. If we turn this fucking ship, I like to think Ahmad and Hojlund will be around, and some of the other older guys will not. So I like the fact that they give a shit, and they're kind of yo, I want a goal. I want a cutting edge. So he gets it. I think Ruben Amorim is the real deal, and he knows how to motivate players, and he knows what players want, which is you need some emotion, because that way people are going to get up for games.
No, absolutely. And let's jump into fan questions, sir. Plzen at Jordan, quote, sirs, first things first, we need some respect on Scran Watch. It's my favorite part of the previews, and the visceral reactions pop. Well done, lads. Keep them up and takes on the absolute abysmal food scenes. Where are we on Rashford now? Hasn't been the same since the England penalty kick. First on the Scran Watch, if you've ever traveled
it's this guy
with Alex.
He's the critic.
No.
He's
I'm just I can't even get it in.
Go ahead.
Alex has a stomach that is like lined in iron, like the feats of strength. This guy eating stuff off the streets in South America, like Bolivia,
like a
just like
homeless.
give me a dog, give me a dog off the streets in the water with the bacteria.
I got
Like
a low floor.
he's just like anything he can take, and I'm just like probably what I would consider the normal Western GI, like just not gonna
You're
go.
soft.
No, I would say it's like ski slopes. It's like Alex is trying to ski double blacks all day. And I'm like, you know what? I'm on vacation. I want a nice green slope or maybe a blue.
Maybe.
That's what I'm looking for.
Maybe.
I don't want to I don't need to go to emergency Pepto. I don't need to be going in, Alex will just take but you also, there's a few decisions you've made while traveling. Like we were at King's Cross Station and there was like an old sausage on
Was
the
it
roller.
Houston? I thought it was Houston.
Could have been Houston. It was like an old breakfast sausage on a roller. I saw that and I was like, you don't want to eat that. Alex ate it, ruined his day. So I have been right a few times where you have gone too far, flown too close to the sun via Scran and paid the ultimate price. So there is a little different philosophies, I would say, between the two of us.
And I'm like, I go in with an open mind, and I want to try the local diet, the local cuisine. So people saying like these breakfast sandwiches are legit in England, I had to try it.
It was like a 7-Eleven
I
sausage.
was like a neophyte at that point on the English game back then, and I tried it, and I learned a lot about the English food game, sir. So I'm still learning.
How does that sandwich still
learning.
haunts you in your dreams?
Sorry, I've had worse. I've had better.
That's
it's no Colbert.
That sausage
It was
gets you.
not good.
I remember that day. I was like, I don't know if you want to eat that, and you looked at me. You're like, I'm eating it.
I put it down. It was one of those where you're like halfway through, you're like, this is bad. this ain't good for nobody.
All right, where are we on Rashford?
What was the news this week from Manchester United? It was like, sell, baby, sell. That's been the modus. That's been the MO for a while. There's very few buyers. We should have sold him years ago. I think he deserved another crack at it, but it's not going to be a fit. The type of football that Ruben Amorim is going to require from his players, it's just not going to happen with Rashford being at the club now for 20 years. It's like, appreciate the memories. Dude, I have respect for Rashford, but like we should try and get a deal, try and invest in the squad and buy some young players because it's time for him to move on in my mind, but it's going to be hard to do a deal.
How are you going to replace him? Number one, he also has high wages. So look, I think my gut tells me that it's really the off the field stuff that shows me he's out of touch. Like, the Louis Vuitton Knicks game, like mid-season, and the only other player going to the States is like Casemiro. It's like you're not in great company when you're kind of just like, hey, F it, like whatever. Like, and also last year, a lot of shenanigans. It's more like his headspace. Like, I think he has all the talent to be a world-class footballer.
No doubt.
I just think he's having priorities. He's been in the spotlight so long. So like, can you care for a decade? Like, eventually Wayne Rooney was like playing at Everton, drinking dark ales and like fighting people at the local bar. I mean, like, sometimes you just kind of are over it. I hope he can find that next level and lock it in. I think Ruben Amorim is open-minded. I think he's scored some good goals. I think in the number 9 role, he's exciting with the pace. But my gut tells me he's probably like a PSG bottles in Paris, like F it, whatever type of player now, which I don't like to admit. But we shall see. And I think Amorim's got the final say. At Randy Scrandy L, quote, never deserved to win less than that. Did anyone have a better 5 out of 10 aside from Hojlund, Onana, Bruno, Delo, Rashford? All shit. Couldn't collectively score a 5 out of 10. City might be out of form, but they'll blow us away Sunday if we do that again. Absolutely awful, sir. Tough call here from it. I think the first half deserves to be called shit football. There's a lot of bluffers in there. I do think Bruno created a bunch at the end of the day, but not good enough for United in Europa League, right? You should be able to rotate even more, play more B team, and get this win and have it be more comfortable. We were playing like a really strong 11 and barely squeaking by.
No, we looked terrible in the first 60 minutes, so I'm not going to defend that. And many of those players were bad. I don't think Bruno was bad. I mean, he created 7 opportunities in one game, but not to the level he could play at, and not a perfect performance. And probably not even funny. He created 7 opportunities. Probably wasn't even an 8 out of 10 for Bruno because, like, I've seen his ceiling. You have too. But I agree. It's frustrating. It's concerning. But hey, Ruben Amorim, we're all behind him. He's going to need lots of time to kind of like thin out this squad. I'm excited about the youth. I'm excited about the future, but this season, man, it's like we're going to need players like Rashford. If we're going to make anything of this season, we have so few attacking options. We have nothing. We have no depth going forward that we're going to need Rashford regardless. And also, we want him to have a decent season so we can sell him for some money. But it's going to be a struggle, man. This team is thin, and there's a lot of bluffers, and you saw that in the first half of this game. But the manager, he's being direct with the players, I'm sure, and us. And it's like, we know where we're at. We know this is a long road back, and hey, we got to be patient.
Look, that's it. That's the podcast. Thank you to everyone who listens. Please like, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, only 20% of the people actually subscribe to our channel. We're almost at 1,000. Sub. Find us on iTunes, Spotify, rank it 5 stars, email this guy. He'll ship you some merch. We got a store, americadevils.store, americadevils.com, patreon.com/americaredevils. Do the thing. Support the pod. Sir, give us our top 10 downloads the last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? New York, New York, Brooklyn, New York, Philadelphia, PA, Chicago, Illinois, Charlotte, North Carolina, Melbourne, Australia, Los Angeles, California, Houston, Texas, Portland, Oregon, and last but not least, Phoenix, Arizona. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do it without you. Holiday season is right around the corner. We got football games coming thick and fast. Ruben's Red Army, big game on the weekend. We're going to get you the preview soon enough on City Derby. That's a big one. We could use a scalp like that, couldn't we?
Absolutely.